Look at my YouTube. YouTube. Alright. Hey, we didn't do the intro video. Training, search, close. Let's see what's going on here. God. Well, it's the same thing. Okay, live. Am I live? I am apparently live with an old logo. So I don't know. There we go. What does that say? Alright, well, hey, if I'm live, I gotta do the intro video. Hang loose, folks. This is just a test, by the way. So let's see what happens here.
Guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was pretty cool. Basically, I'm just doing a test tonight. Haven't put anything together, not largely. Working good here on YouTube. Not working on my website right now, using the new multicasting capability. That's a work in progress. Can't find the right link for that, but I'll get that taken care of. I didn't want that not to allow me to go on and update some people. Hey, I wonder if I can pull up my website right now. Don't really have it prepared, but if I can, I would love to. Where is it? Window. There we go. Browser. No. Capture, where are you? Window capture, window that's open on your computer. There we go. That's the one I want. Let's do a window capture real quick and show you all around my website right now a little bit. Here we go. Let's grab the right one. Stream, that sounds good. There we go. The one showing how my stream is offline right now. But that's working there. So let me try. '40-year-old private, which you can see right behind me there, folks. I'll have that on my website here shortly. all that money goes to any money that I might make after the expenses. And trust me, when it goes through Amazon, you don't make jack crap. But I will be going on tour pretty quick, and I'll be setting up my. There we go. I'll be setting up. 100 hours worth of video time this week, or this month, worth of streaming capability. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be simulcasting to my website. I figured this out. I already broadcast to that website, to my website, like day before yesterday, before I realized that everything was broken in my online store, and I had to stop what I was doing there and fix that. But no, I had it working on the website. I'll do it again. And once I get that set up, I really want to, I've really got a system set up here now so that I can put together some pretty lucid and pretty good programs. I don't want to be doing this, right? So I'm not the kind of guy that, oh, you're supposed to stare at the camera. I'm supposed to be staring. No. I'm doing this because I have to. Because these potato heads in D.C. and Fox News and all MSN, MSNBC, CNN, because all of those dumbass threat actors are more concerned about their own bank accounts or protecting their job and partnering with the military-industrial complex and our government officials than they are actually doing what people have fought and died for to protect their rights, which is the freedom of the press. Got my new business cards in today. The first one I grab is a blank one. Thought they were pretty good. Yeah, I'll show you the back. I don't know if you can see these, but it's Patrick Berge, video journalist. See, I'm one of you guys now because I have a frickin' business card, right? Well, I got a business card and a multimedia studio. That's not going to zoom in very good there. Yeah. So, it's not coming in very good. So it says Patrick Berge, video journalist with BB Media. That's actually a thing. And it's actually Berge Bros Media. And if you're thinking, wow, Berge Bros seems like a stupid name, well, yeah, it is. But it's also a family name. We had a grain elevator in our family called Berge Brothers Elevator in Alto, Michigan for like damn near 75 years. So, and I didn't really plan on doing anything with it other than, I didn't plan on having to do what we're doing now with it. But I put on here, protecting America's First Amendment, exposing corrupt journalism. You can't see that because my Zoom's not working properly. But that's my card. Got about 1,500 of them to hand out along my journey, right? We're going to try to introduce people to the Freedom Stream, which eventually, hopefully, will be the funding arm of SafeVet.org, which SafeVet.org will hopefully someday be a series of VFW-like posts, but instead they'll be cyber cafes, right? Where each cyber cafe will consist of will also host a 2 to 10 petabyte data center. And as our posts grow across the U.S., God willing, we will expand and grow what is really like the NPR, the National Public Radio, the NPR of the internet. Only we're not trying to be the internet. We're trying to provide or build a very highly secure, highly redundant, basically server farm, mass storage, right? To allow our users and Americans who fit, I can't point you up to the who, what, where, when, and why that I've got in index cards and everything for a presentation I did a few days ago on the wall right there, but that's what we're trying to do, right? So we're trying to build out these data centers, and these data centers will eventually host the content from that's used for Freedom Stream. And Freedom Stream is all sorts of things. It could eventually be a social media network that is not owned by the government, that is not owned by Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook or any of these other people. It's owned and managed by a veterans-based nonprofit, which, for all intentional purposes, its board of directors as I envision it, but that's just me. It's not my company. It's a nonprofit. It's everybody's company who's a member of the board and who's on that, right? But my vision on this is to have that capability of being able to provide storage, video on demand content, and such to all of our members at these locations, spread out redundantly across the United States. Eventually, I did the math, and if we had 300 locations that each held a 5 petabyte data center, we would have about 300 petabytes more total combined data space or storage than Facebook, Microsoft, YouTube, all of the major U.S. players combined, right? We would be the NPR, the NPR of the internet. Only we are because why did they make NPR? Why did Congress make or authorize the Corporation for Public Broadcasting? Because Congress knew we had this new technology that was out and called television, right? Which it was slow and limited on its growth and expansion and its reach. But once it started having a reach that our government recognized its potential for influencing people. So they made the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to protect American citizens from corporations and from the government. Now, that didn't work out very good because it still was controlled kind of by the government in a way. Then the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, like a year or so later, created the National Public Radio. It's like back in the early 70s, like around 71. And it was for that same purpose, so that corporations didn't control or influence America. But now we've got the internet, which has exploded, and everybody universally across the political spectrum, across the planet, understands that social media is being exploited and just used for terrible purposes. I mean, yeah, there's some cat videos out there. Yeah, it can do good, but it's so open and vulnerable to being exploited that we decided, like when that happened with the radio, hey, we needed to fix this. So that's where we've gone. That's the intentions and purpose of SafeVet.org, which is a nonprofit, but we're still standing that up. I want to be very clear about this. FreedomStream.tv right now is a for-profit. You don't get tax deductions or anything for it, but you sure as hell can help, right? And as soon as we're even writing it into the bylaws that eventually, I believe, FreedomStream will be brought in under the veterans-based nonprofit. At least that's how I envision it happening, right? And then you can have that bottom-up kind of co-op of, each post each community has their own post, right? And that community can pretty much set the standards for their local community, and they can also contribute to the overall standards that are adopted by a veteran-based nonprofit social media platform, right? And each of the posts they can secure. Each of the posts, you got veterans that you've got the VFW, which is pretty much all older veterans. God bless them, right? But the VFW has struggled for years and years now trying to figure out a way to bring younger people into it. Well, you're not going to do it by, buying more of those, scratch off lottery tickets, right? You're going to do it by reaching out, by designing your infrastructure. Instead of it being a smoky old bar with cheap liquor, make it a cyber cafe with coffee and cheap liquor, right? And then work with the younger generation. Have the younger generations of veterans teach the older generations of veterans that are struggling and are so often the victims of online consumer fraud or struggling to figure out how to use the VA, which is pretty much all online now. It's frustrating for me, and I'm a 54-year-old vet, right, male. I can only imagine how difficult it is for some of our older veterans who are on their own trying to navigate that system. It's a good system, it could be, right? But in order for a system's only as good as you can really teach its users to function with it, and then also get feedback from them, right? So I think that our younger vets, who are so much involved in like cyber security and all of these things, could work with our older vets to try to bring together a great team, a very powerful organization, and a great team. The archiving capabilities of safevet.org are absolutely amazing, right? So you could, safevet.org and Freedom Stream could partner with an organization like the Veterans History Project, which is basically an unfunded congressional mandate going back to 2000, which was a phenomenal idea, right? But sequestration was extremely detrimental to it back in 2013. I went and met with the people at the Veterans History Project in 2015. At the time of the 100,000 or so submissions that they had from veterans, their families, of interviews with veterans, collecting their stories. Of 100,000 of them, they only had at the time about 5% of it digitized, uploaded, and available for scholars, researchers, family members. Hell, even just think of the value that would have really for historians and for people to understand, especially at a time right now when everybody's just tearing down statues, right? People go through those cycles of tearing down statues and doing things like that, and then cooler heads prevail, and you're left picking up the pieces on explaining to our children and to the people that follow us, their past, and so that they can avoid making some of the same mistakes. As much as no sane person that I know or myself, anybody I associate with, condones racism, as much as nobody condones racism, you can't just forget about it. You can't just delete it, because the only way that you're going to ever eliminate it, if there is such a possible thing, the only way you're ever going to keep from going backwards is by remembering the past, not by eliminating it and just repeating it again. And I think that's what a lot of these people are trying to do. And that's where you start getting into my other area of expertise as a subject matter expert in IIA, interactive internet activities and social media psychological warfare. But that's for another stream. I'd like to thank everybody who did tune in on this tonight. I gotta go over things. My fees, my stuff's not coming through here. A lot of work to do. A lot of work to do to make this work, and I gotta hopefully be able to do it before I leave on Friday, which is not a lot of time, people. But even when I'm on the road, even when I leave here and I get on the road, I should be in a situation where very shortly where I'll be able to continue to update, continue to build out this platform to be able to have a voice, not just for myself, but for other people. Again, freedomstream.tv is where you can go to check out and get a mug. Thanks, everyone, for didn't want that on there, did I? There we go. With my, I don't want to put the caster, although the stream key and everything is all blocked, so we're good there. But any rate, hope you all enjoyed this. Wow, 54 minutes. Didn't tweet it out, didn't do anything. This is just a test. I will be doing some more work on it. I will save the recording, I'll upload it, and make this available on my website very shortly to my Patreon supporters. Thank you very much. Good night, and God bless.